trace the path of coronavirus as it travels through the body.
As we enter the nose, notice the wrench-shaped proteins sticking out of nasal mucosa cells. Those are ACE2 receptors. Normally, they're in charge of regulating blood pressure and healing wounds, but they also bind to the spike-shaped proteins that surround the virus, allowing it to actually enter the cell. So right now, we're looking at the respiratory system. This includes the lungs and the windpipe. You can kind of think about the respiratory system like a tree. Your windpipe is the trunk, and it branches into these little things called bronchioles. The leaves at the ends of the branches are alveoli, and they're pretty much responsible for putting oxygen into your bloodstream and taking carbon dioxide out. So, how does this all relate to coronavirus? Well, the virus enters your body with the intention of using your cells to replicate as soon and as fast as possible. To do that, it transcribes its genetic information and turns it into a form that it can use to make identical copies of itself. The problem lies in the damage that the virus does during that process. Your lungs are lined with epithelial cells, which act like a barrier meant to protect them from foreign invaders. The virus binds to the cell and injects its genetic info, forcing the hijacked cell to copy and reassemble the virus's DNA before self-destructing. As it moves through your lungs, the virus kills millions of epithelial cells, and by doing so, gets rid of the lung's main source of protection. Without anything filtering the bad stuff out, it's easier for other bacteria to get into your lungs. You've probably heard that breathing issues are a symptom of the virus. Well, that's because alveoli control the amount of oxygen in your bloodstream, and they aren't able to do that as well when they're filled with fluid and debris. So now we know what the virus does. Let's look at the ways that your body fights back by heading over to the immune system. The immune system is actually made up of many different parts and organs, but today we'll just be looking at lymphocytes, a type of white blood cell. When attacked by any foreign invader, your body naturally tries to get rid of it. But in this case, your immune system has to go into overdrive. Those lymphocytes respond with what's known as a cytokine storm. Cytokines are a general word for proteins that fight infection, so a cytokine storm should be a good thing, right? The problem is they fight infection by causing inflammation, so when too many are released, it causes more issues by swelling up your lungs. This immune response can actually be more problematic than the virus's damage itself. That sounds like a complicated, scary process, but don't worry. By social distancing, washing your hands often, and trying not to touch your face, you can reduce your risk of catching the virus and make sure that you don't spread it to the people around you. If we all make an effort to do that, we can lower the number of cases observed. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and stay safe.